out to Amy in Palm Springs, California. Amy, how are we doing?
Hi, Dr. D. Hi, Anthony. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. How can we help?
I have a relationship question. My fiance, who I've dated for 10 years, is a huge procrastinator. And his response to things that I tell him to do is that I'll do it later, or I'll do it after work, or I'll do it tomorrow. But he never does anything until the very last minute, and it stresses me out. So I nag him, and I end up being the annoying person. How do I deal with someone who is a procrastinator? I wonder if I'm approaching it the wrong way, since it doesn't seem to be effective, and I'm a bit frustrated. I wanted to hear your and Anthony's thoughts.
Anthony, what do you think?
Nah, you're the expert in this field, Doc.
I know, but I want to hear from you. How do you help somebody stop procrastinating?
You can't help someone stop procrastinating.
Say what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't control another person's way they think.
Stop it, Anthony. You're being revolutionary here. Hey, Amy, he's exactly right. At the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. What I can tell you is you can absolutely make sure that your relationship ends up in a dumpster fire, and that's by nagging, by trying to control him, by trying to beat him up with a stick. That is a surefire way of getting off the tracks. Now, he's got responsibility for getting this thing off the tracks, but that is not a way to get it back on, right? Have you sat down with him outside of a hard conversation, right? So let's say you said, hey, I need you to pick these towels up. Please pick these up. And he's like, all right, as soon as this commercial's over, I'll get them. And then you go to read a book. You go to re-roof the house, whatever awesome thing you're doing. You come back and the towels are still sitting there and he's asleep. And then you lose it. You take the towels, you think about smothering him with them, and then you just throw them at him instead, and then y'all have a big dust up. Have you ever, outside of that situation, have you ever been out on a date with him? Have you ever had dinner with him and said, hey, tonight I just want to talk to you, just you and me? Go to a restaurant or sit down at your house, wherever you need to do it, and say, I don't feel like you're taking me seriously. I don't feel like you're a contributing partner to this relationship. I ask you to be a part of things, and part of it is we've agreed on cleaning up. We agreed on doing these things together, and you're not helping. In fact, you're not being honest with me when you say you're going to do it, and talking about it in an off-scene situation. Have you ever tried that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've actually, when he doesn't do things, like I tell him to clean his room, I remind him daily to do it. And then when he finally does do something that I wanted him to do, after weeks later, I say, oh, good job, or I praise him, and it doesn't seem like it's
Amy, this is your fiance or your pet?
Yeah, what? I'm confused.
Oh, my fiance.
This is your fiance or your son?
My fiance.
Amy, you're telling. How old are you?
I'm 32.
How old is your fiance?
He's 34.
And you're telling him to clean his room?
Yes.
Okay, flip.
Yeah, but actually, it's more of a
Amy. I can't. I just can't be quiet. I can't be quiet here. And I want to respectfully say this. I don't think the problem is on him solely. I think it's on you. Part of it too, because here's why. You've been with this guy for 10 years. This hasn't just started. And if my daughter came home and said, Dad, I have to tell my grown man who's 34 years old to clean his bedroom, and the only way he'll do it is if I give him praise, no disrespect, that's what I do. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just going to say. No,
that's what I'm going to say. That's what you do with a young child or a pet.
Right. So you're dating a grown man, but it sounds like he's a little boy in a grown man's body. And then it makes me question you, because it's like, what are you attracted to? So I think the communication problem is on both sides, not just his, but you as well, because how can you go 10 years and you just told us that you've never even said something to him? So I think I agree with you. Y'all both need to go out there and just sit down and have a clear communication, and you need to voice everything that you're concerned about. He needs to voice everything he's concerned about. And at that table, y'all need to identify, all right, do we want to move forward? Because 10 years dating someone? Man, I wish I could. For Boy, ooh.
So, Amy, imagine that for us. How's that conversation going to go?
10 years.
Honestly, I don't know how to start it.
Okay.
I guess I can.
Are you more? And I'm not being ugly here. Are you more his mom or are you more his fiance? Are you more his maternal figure who takes care of him and cleans up after him and makes sure the bills are paid, or are you preparing to marry somebody that y'all are going to be co-partners, co-create a future together?
The second option.
So that's where you feel like you are, or that's what you want to do?
I want it to be that way.
There you go. So I know where you want it to be. Where is it now?
It's right now where I'm doing everything. I'm being more of the maternal person.
Okay. So what I need you to do is this. After a long time together, couples get in ruts, they get in routines, and all of a sudden you look up and you have a conversation with two guys you've never met and say, hey, how does this sound? And we both lose our minds. But I don't want to miss the pain here. I don't want to miss you're stuck on those same railroad tracks. You are in a rut and you have your foot on that gas and that car is just spinning a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. You have to create a future together with a shared vision. You've got to stop telling a grown man to go clean his room. You've got to stop saying, I want to build a future with a guy that I've got to remind with praise to do basic hygienic things. You're going to have a voice in your relationship where you say, hey, here's what I need to be whole in this relationship. Here's what I need from you as a partner. What can I do to support and love you? That's what relationships are. They are not somebody telling other grown people to clean up after themselves and then patting them on the head and saying good boy and getting them a Whopper with cheese and going on about your day.
Amy, I'm going to say something. And this is my opinion. This is not Dave Ramsey's opinion. This is not John's opinion. This is my opinion. So I will take all the heat from YouTube when I say this. But I want you to ask yourself, do you have any insecurities inside of yourself? Because I think that maybe you should step back and ask God, should you be dating? Because any woman that will allow a man to do that, I question, does she know her own value? And I hear a woman who is valuable. I hear a woman that is sweet. I hear a woman that is caring. But I wonder, do you know that's your value? And if you don't, I would definitely say step back. And even before you meet, really talk to yourself and really get to know yourself. So this way, when you go to him, he's going to see a different woman when he looks into your eyes and says, okay, that's the woman that I want. I'm going to change. And if he doesn't want that woman, he's going to walk away, or you have to walk away, because the only way this change is by you. You can't depend on him because he's not changing. You have to make a change in yourself to force him to change, or you have to be willing to exit, especially after 10 years.
I think this is a great example of, so often, Anthony, women are conditioned to make sure everyone else is okay.
Yeah.
Everyone else's needs are taken care of.
Yeah.
I will pat you on the head. I'll clean up after you. I'll do all this other stuff.
That's a nurturer in a woman.
Well, but it's also it's a frustrating social conditioning. And on the other side, guys live in this world where I'm just going to sit here, right?
What guys? Not me.
You're the exception of the.
Yeah,
you are.
None of my peers. You don't be just sitting there.
That's right.
If your wife ever told me she had to tell you to clean up her room, I'm telling her to leave you today.
Trust me, she won't be telling you that.
Real talk.